All right, beautiful people. Beautiful people. Hello. Welcome to the stream, guys. How's everyone doing tonight? We're going to be talking about the biggest thing that held me personally back in my recovery. We really want to drive that home tonight, so I hope you're all doing fantastic. Hope you're ready for a stream. We've been doing streams at a later time here recently. I'm going to try to keep that going. I feel like most people prefer that, so we're going to try to keep that going. We'll give it a minute, let some people get in here. Edward first in chat. What's up, Edward? Welcome, dude. Welcome. Welcome. We're almost at 900, guys. We're almost at 900 followers over on TikTok. So check me out, Vacay Fear. Lauren, what is up, Lauren? Welcome to the stream. Hello. Yes, so this stream, you guys, is going to be on mental accountability. Of course, I'm going to go further into depth with that, explain exactly what I'm talking about with that, but that is what this stream is going to be about. Again, one of the biggest things that held me back in my recovery, mental accountability. I've done a few streams on this topic in the past, you know, like number one thing that I had to overcome or biggest hurdle during my recovery, you know, streams like that. But I feel like it's a very important topic just to revisit from time to time. So we're going to get into that. Let's see. Send out another notification. Harass the Discord for a second. There we go. How are you doing tonight, Edward? Lauren, how you doing tonight? Try to get everything set up and ready to go. Try not to bump into the mic tonight so it doesn't disconnect it. Okay, there we go. Kate, what is up? Good, how are you doing? I'm doing okay. I spent a lot of time trying to get caught up on the yard work today. Had a riding lawnmower, tried to repair it. It did not work out, so I had to get a push mower. Mr. Jacobson. I don't even know what Mr. Jacobson means. Steph said, okay. What is Mr. Jacobson? Alfred? Why was that so difficult for me to say? Hello, welcome to the stream. Rick, what is up? Luis, what is up, dude? Welcome. Pillars of Light, welcome. Hi again. I'm feeling pretty anxious now, and I'm trying my hardest not to give in to the thoughts, etc. This should be a good stream for you then. Should be a good stream for anybody willing to listen, right? A good stream for anybody willing to listen. But yeah, that's what I did pretty much all day today, trying to get my massive yard mowed with a push mower that is also battery charged, so it's constantly running out of charge before I can do what needs to be done. I'm gonna have to get out and figure out a way to get like another battery or something. Figure it out in a minute. Steph, Jake, okay, I get it now. I get it. Why was that so difficult for me? I don't know. We're going to give it another minute. Let some people get in here. Then we'll get started. Your timing can't be any more perfect. All right. Okay. Sky, what is up, Sky? Welcome, dude. Welcome. Why is that music so low? Okay. Let's go ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get this one started. I missed Gamer coming in the chat. What the hell? Gamer, what's up, dude? I don't know how I missed you there. I'm missing everything tonight, apparently. I can't connect the dots. I think I'm just worn out. Watching the draft and chilling. How about you, Steph? Nice. All right, guys, let's get into it. So tonight we're going to be talking about mental accountability, one of the biggest things that held me back in my recovery journey. And I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say it's probably one of the biggest things that hold like at least 90% of people back in their recovery. So mental accountability. Let's get into it. We're going to start with a question. Let's start with a question, then we'll lead into what we're going to be talking about. How many of you have been here and seen at least one, right? At least one of my streams on the mental side of healing. When we talk about things like no longer fighting with your thoughts, we talk about things about no longer getting into your mental and worrying about your life situation, your feelings, your thoughts, so forth and so on. How many times or how many people here have at least once seen me talk about that, right? Quite a few of you, probably every single person in this chat has heard me talk about the importance behind dropping worry, the importance behind dropping worry, whether it's about your feelings, whether it's about your thoughts, whether it's about your life situations, the importance of dropping worry, right? You've all heard me preach it probably way more than once, hundreds and hundreds of times. That is great. That is great because you need the knowledge. You absolutely need the knowledge. But when it comes to accountability, this is where a lot of people fall short. What's up, Jay? Welcome to the chat, dude. Hope you're doing great. When it comes to accountability, this is where a lot of people fall short because you can hear a certain message, right? You can hear a very clear, certain message time and time again, hundreds of times. That doesn't mean you're actually doing what needs to be done. And there's several reasons for this. A lot of people are in denial. A lot of people think, I'm not worrying about my thoughts and my feelings and my life situations. I'm not doing that. So a lot of people are in denial. They don't realize just how bad their mental habits are, right? So that's one reason for it, just straight up denial. Another reason for it is it takes a lot of responsibility and it takes a lot of effort and dedication to work on mental habits. So that's another reason. A lot of people fall short here about being accountable. So you can hear something a million different times, right? And if you've been on this channel for a while, you probably have heard it a million different times. You can hear something time and time again, but a lot of people are in denial and a lot of people are not fully dedicated to it because it takes a lot of effort and it is a daily practice. So accountability seems to be probably one of the biggest downfalls of many, many people, and I know accountability was my biggest downfall. I know accountability, not holding myself accountable, and we're going to talk about how you can do that in just a second, but not holding myself accountable for my mental actions, right? Because just like you pick something up off your desk, when you do something mentally, that is a mental action. It is something that you are choosing to do. It is basically a muscle that you are training, right? So not holding myself accountable for my mental actions was my biggest downfall, and it was probably a lot of people's biggest downfalls, and probably still is a lot of people's biggest downfall. So let's get into how you can start to hold yourself accountable. So once this stream is over, right, and it's time to move on with your night, you're going to be, you're going to have thoughts that come. You're going to have feelings that come. You might even have life situations, guys, that pop up in your life tonight. You might get an unpleasant text, bad news or something, right? You are going to encounter things, feelings, thoughts, and situations when this stream is over. Now, holding yourself accountable is going to look like this. Am I really using what I'm learning? When I am tempted to worry over a life situation, do I do the worry, or do I tell myself something like, you know what, there I go again, doing the worry, it's pointless, and drop it and keep living positive behaviors? Do you get a feeling, and do you hold yourself accountable for not adding worry to that feeling? Do you actually have that feeling and say to yourself, you know what, I know what it is. I'm going to let it do its thing. Or, whatever. These are all just examples. Whatever you tell yourself, and then get back to living. If you get a thought, I don't know if we've said that. I think we have, but we're going to do it again. If you get a thought, right, that predicts something bad is going to happen, do you hold yourself accountable to say to that thought, hey, you know what? If that happens, it happens, or I'm worrying again, and it's pointless, just going to accept that thought and that feeling, and then get back to living. Are you actually holding yourself accountable for your mental actions? Because a lot of times people turn off these streams, right? And you might ask me, how do I know this? I can see it from a mile away, right? A lot of times people will turn off these streams, and there's really no sense of accountability. So what happens is they learn all this great information, they get super excited, they get super motivated and encouraged, which is great. That is the first step. That is obviously the first step. But they turn off the stream, and then there's zero accountability. So every thought is still worried over. Every feeling is still worried over. Every life situation is still worried over. And of course, the whole time you're doing this, you are hurting the nervous system. Do you have to be perfect and never worry again in your life? No, absolutely not. Lewis, that one woke me up a little bit. Lewis, thank you so much for the $10 tip. Thank you for supporting the stream, guys. We're on a 19-day streak. If you'd like to support the stream and help us hit a 20-day, an even 20-day streak, link is in the description. We'll go ahead and add that real quick. I forget exactly where we left off. But anyway, we're just going to pick it right back up. So accountability. Man, is it important. Man, is it important, especially when it comes to your mental habits, right? And the reason accountability is so important when it comes to your mental habits is because they are your strongest, right? There's no doubt about it. Your mental habits are your strongest habits that you have, because you've probably had these mental habits long before you were ever sensitized, right? A lot of people think I only picked up the mental habit of worrying over everything when I became sensitized. That is not true. You've probably had the mental habit of worry and obsession a lot stronger than your average person, because everybody does a little bit of worry. You don't have to be perfect. I think that's where I left off, right? You don't have to be perfect. Everybody's got a little bit of worry, but you have had the extreme worry habit long before sensitization. And if you get really honest with yourself, guys, and you look at your past, you will see that that's true. You will see that 9 times out of 10 that is true. You have been an extreme, what we would call an extreme worrier, probably since the day that you were born. Nothing can happen in your life without you worrying about every possible outcome. No feeling can come into your life without you worrying about it. No thought can pop into your head without you worrying about it. What is worry? It is what you attach to thoughts, feelings, and life situations, right? We gave a few examples earlier of how you catch yourself, shut it down, tell yourself, you know what, it's pointless to do that, I'm worrying again, I'm just going to let it be as it is, right? Or whatever you want to tell yourself. Adopt your own accepting inner voice, and then let it go each time. Rinse and repeat. You're going to have to do that a lot. But anyway, without getting too off track, we're going to keep pulling this back to accountability. You have had this worry habit probably your entire life. You have had this worry habit so long, and it is so strong that you are going to have to be accountable. At some point, if you are not accountable during this journey for your mental habits, they will slip right under the radar every single time. I'm not telling you to become paranoid. I'm telling you that you do have to hold yourself to a certain standard. You do have to wake up every day with the attitude of, today I'm really going to put in the work. I want to do this work. That's the attitude to have. I want to do this work. Right? And then you do the work and you hold yourself accountable, and you make sure that you're not allowing yourself to resort back to old bad habits and letting them slide under the radar, because you're not going to get away with it. You don't have to be perfect. Even people, every human being worries from time to time, and you're probably still going to worry from time to time. I worry from time to time about life situations. I'm pretty quick with shutting it down. I try not to let it drag on, and I've faced a lot of things in my life, especially here recently, where I had to shut worry down, right? That is a part of being human. So you don't have to be perfect to heal your nervous system. You don't have to be this person who never worries again. I'm not asking you to do the impossible, but what I am saying is you have to take accountability for what you're doing upstairs each and every day, especially while you're in recovery from tired nerves, because as you guys know, if you've watched the channel for a while, worry equals danger to the brain. The more worry you do, whether it's over a thought, whether it's over a feeling, whether it's over a life situation, it's not doing your nerves any favors. And that's another thing. A lot of people don't know, right, that this applies to even your life situation, guys. Let me see a show of hands in chat. I love you guys so much. Participate with me for here for just a second. Let me see a show of hands in chat. How many people probably thought at one point or another, because this is so common, how many of you probably thought at one point or another that this guy on YouTube talking about not fighting your thoughts and feelings mentally, how many of you probably thought that you could get away with worrying about your life 24/7, right? I used to think back in the day that I could get away with worrying about my life 24/7. Okay? You can't. We did a stream called No Free Passes, which means you got to be accountable for your mental actions, accepting your thoughts, accepting your feelings, and accepting your life situations. We're basically working on the extremely nervous system battering habit of extreme worry and obsession. That's what we're doing. That's what we're working on here. And of course, positive behaviors, living your life. The two go together, right? The two go together. So you're living your life, positive behaviors, which just means do things, right? And while you're doing that, so much accountability has to be happening up here. You gotta hold yourself super accountable up here, especially during your sensitized journey. And the reason I wanted to make that known is that people tend to think that this doesn't apply to life situations. It does, because to your brain, excessive amounts of worry, again, you're not going to be perfect, but excessive, extreme amounts of worry that hurt your nervous system, your brain doesn't care if that's worry is over a thought. Your brain doesn't care if that worry is over a feeling. Your brain doesn't care if that worry is over a real life situation. Worry is worry to the brain. It doesn't say, let's just pick a random name from chat. Oh, Elliot is worried about, he's worried about this real life thing that's going on in his life, so we're not going to count that. That's not going to hurt the nervous system because that's real, so we're not going to count that. No, the brain doesn't work that way, right? The brain is going to say, Mr. Elliot is worried over something. I don't care what it is. I don't care if he's worried over a thought, a feeling, a life situation. He's in trouble, and we need to give him anxiety and all that excess anxiety, and then the nervous system gets worn down. So the No Free Passes stream, go back and rewatch that, or just, watch this stream again. But at some point, there's got to be accountability for your mental actions. It doesn't matter if it's worry over a feeling, thought, life situations. We've got to cut it back. And I know I keep saying this, but I want to stress the point that you don't have to be perfect. I don't want you guys to come on here and think, oh, here's this guy telling me I'm not allowed to worry ever again in my life, or I won't heal. It's not what I'm saying, guys. I still worry from time to time. You're a human being. It's going to happen. But we got to cut back on the extreme severity of your worry. That's what we're working on, especially when it comes to feelings and thoughts, but also life situations. We want to cut back on how much worry you're doing and the extreme, because really, you guys are in extreme territory. That's what gets people into a sensitized boat. That's why you can have quote unquote normal people who worry, and then you can have people who go full blown sensitization. That tells me that you've taken it to an extreme. So I'm not saying you got to be perfect, but we got to cut back on the severity of the amount of worry that you're doing on a daily basis, right? And the point of this stream, just to bring it all back and put a nice tight bow on it, the point of this stream is that you can't work on that mental habit of worry unless there's accountability, because so easily you'll go back to your bad habits. I promise, I did it a lot. So easily you'll allow your bad habit of worry to slip under the radar, and you'll just be in complete denial. You'll just be totally blind to it. This is where accountability has to come into play. Each day, maybe it's just 2 or 3 minutes of your day, it would not hurt for you to say, am I doing the right things mentally? Am I fighting with my thoughts and feelings and having these big negative conversations with myself? Am I attaching and having all this dialogue back and forth with my thoughts, feelings, and life situations? Or am I spotting? Am I spotting? And here's what you need to do. Here's the practice that you're trying to be accountable for. Am I spotting when I'm up in my head? You don't have to catch it before it happens. You can catch it while it's happening. That's fine too. Preferably sooner rather than later, right? But anyway, the practice is, am I spotting when I'm up in my head telling myself negative things about my feelings? Am I spotting myself when I'm up in my head fighting with thoughts, oh, that won't happen, or what if it does happen? Am I spotting myself when I'm up in my head worried about life situations? Oh, God, how will I do this, or how will I afford that, or what if this bad thing happens in my life? Are you spotting it? And then coming back, giving yourself that accepting inner voice and say, hey, I'm doing it again. Call yourself out. I'm doing it again. That's pointless. Just, it is what it is. I'm going to let that go. And then you go back to focusing on doing your housework or whatever. Are you doing that? Because you're going to have to do that a lot. The point is, this is not a one and done. You have to do that a lot, and anytime you have to do something a lot, there's got to be a level of accountability. If there's no level of accountability when you're working on a practice that takes so much effort and consistency, it's very easy to go back into bad habits. It's very easy to be in denial. It's very easy to be blind to the fact that you've probably watched 100 Wonder Bros streams and you're still not quite doing it. You're still not quite doing the thing you're supposed to be doing, right? And that's not to shame anybody. That's just to say, hey, if that's you, Totally fine. I hope you make that realization, and I hope now you start to hold yourself accountable, because that means we can only go up from here. So, and that was me. That was me, guys, and that's why I'm so invested in this particular subject, this topic, because that was me back in the day, reading Dr. Claire Weekes' books, reading things about, cutting worry and how worry affects the nervous system, and, positive behaviors, reading about all this stuff, learning about how the brain operates and functions. I was a encyclopedia for anxiety knowledge for a long time, but there was zero accountability. So therefore I knew everything that needed to be done, but I was still fighting with every thought, feeling, and life situation mentally that came my way, and just every now and then I would kind of half attempt to work on my worry habit. Not going to cut it, right? Just simply not going to cut it. And that's why I'm so passionate about this particular topic, because there's probably a lot of you out there right now, even if you're still in denial and totally blind to what I'm saying, one day you're going to realize that, wait a minute, I have watched hundreds and hundreds of Wonder Bros videos or streams, and he's right, there was no accountability, so I wasn't actually doing what I needed to do. I wasn't actually going for it. Right? And maybe that's because there's some denial there, or you're just kind of blind to it, or nobody ever told you this before and actually said, hey, are you holding yourself accountable? Maybe nobody's ever asked you that question. But anyway, how to hold yourself accountable. So I want to wrap this stream up by maybe giving you an exercise that you can practice doing to hold yourself accountable. From this day forward, you could wake up, right? You could wake up with the mindset of, okay, we're going to do the work today because I want to do the work. We're going to do the work today, and I'm actually going to make it a point to tell yourself, I'm actually going to make sure I'm holding myself to a certain standard today, right? Make it a point to, even if it's just a few minutes out of the day, to talk to yourself about the topic of accountability. Am I being accountable today? Am I doing what I need to do today? Right? Shine some light on it. Bring it to the forefront of your mind and actually think about that topic for a second, and then get on with the rest of your day so that you'll be accountable. At the end of the day, you could sit down at the end of the day, maybe join us on the Discord. Let us know in the accomplishments channel. Let us know in the support chat. Say, you know what? Today I was able to shut down a lot of my worry. I didn't really get stuck on anything. Every time I had a thought or a feeling or a life situation, I started to worry about it. I caught myself, slapped myself, not literally, slapped myself on the wrist and said, hey, that's pointless. I'm not going to do that. That's just obsession. And then I accepted the thoughts and feelings. Let us know on the Discord. However you want to hold yourself accountable is fine, as long as at some point throughout the day you are coming together with yourself or with us on the community and saying, hey, here's what I've done, here's what I'm doing, and I'm going to continue to keep this motivation going. I'm being accountable now. If there is zero accountability, there will probably be zero progress. And the reason I say that is because you can't be dedicated to a practice that takes so much dedication and consistency, because it really does, to work on your mental habits, right? You can't be dedicated to a practice that takes so much consistency and have zero accountability. The two don't coexist. That doesn't coexist, because in a practice that takes as much work as this practice does, right? Fixing your mental habits, something's got to be holding you accountable, or you're probably just not going to do it. Again, whether that's because you're blind to it or you're in denial, or if something is not holding you accountable, if it's yourself not holding you accountable, somebody else, the community, if something, right, like I said, it can be yourself, but if something is not holding you accountable, you're probably just not going to do it. And that could be for many multiple reasons, but you're probably, if there's zero accountability, you're probably just not going to do it. Right? And so I know a lot of people might have viewed the topic of tonight's stream and thought, oh, a stream on accountability, that's not that important, whatever. This is probably, and I know I'm being a bit dramatic here, but this is probably one of the most important streams I've ever done, if I'm being completely honest with you. And when I say that it was one of the biggest things that stopped me from recovering, I could have recovered a lot sooner if I was holding myself accountable. When I say that, that is 100% true, because until I had some accountability to make sure I was getting up and I was living my life and working on my mental habits, until there was some steady accountability, I just wasn't doing it. right? And again, that can be for multiple reasons, but I just wasn't doing it. All right, you guys, I think that's all I want to say on that topic. That's a great topic. If you didn't quite catch it the first time around, you can always catch it when it gets uploaded to the channel. But with that being said, I think I'm done with tonight's topic, you guys. We're going to head right into post-stream. Let's get us some music going, just a smooth transition right into post-stream. If you've got questions, now is your time to ask those questions. Lewis did send a tip note with his $10 tip, and we are on a 19-day streak. Thank you guys so much. Lewis said, for every morning I thought I would never make it in the end. At the end of the day, I always do. Nothing ever happens. It's just a big bluff. Stay consistent, everyone. It's not easy, but it's the only way. Lewis, thank you for that positive message, and thank you for the $10 tip on our tip goal, guys. 19-day streak. If you'd like to support the stream, link is in the description. Link is in the description. Thank you, by the way. I don't know if anybody here is from the TikTok, but if you are, thank you so much for the love and the support over there. We're almost at 900 followers over there. Very important. It ties everything else together. Yeah, if there is no accountability, then there's probably not going to be any consistency. And if there's no consistency, there's no progress. Right? Do you see how I like that comment? Ties everything together, because it really does. Just want to say sorry about howling on Discord, going through the roughest patch. Do not apologize. Do not apologize for seeking support. Do not apologize for sharing your story. We are here to help, right? We're here to help. I'm here to help. The community's here to help. You do not have to apologize for that. We still got Sky in the house. What's up, Sky? Luis, Elliot. What's up, Elliot? Northern Girl. Hope you're having a great night. Steph, Sky. I'm just going up the list here. Gamer, Rick, Donkey. We got Donkey in the house. What's up, dude? Kate. What's up, everybody? All right, let's see here. So while we were on our Donkey, my man. Donkey, thank you so much for the $5 tip, dude. Thank you to all the tippers, man. Without your support, I don't know what we'd do. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. That is very kind of you. Show Donkey some love in the chat with the purple hearts. I always point the wrong thing. Everything is reversed. We also got a $20, let's see, a $20 tip while we were mid-rant. I hope you're still in here, dude. From Corey. Says, thanks, man, for all the knowledge and help. I've had a rough week with some panic attack and heavy anxiety, but realizing using acceptance the right way. Let me bring that fully up because it cut off your message, and I feel like there was more to that. But let me go ahead and add that to the goal. Let me go ahead and, what does that put us at? Correct my math if I'm wrong. You guys know I suck at math. I'm going to say 35. I think that's correct. We are only 15 away from tip goal, guys. Thank you so much. Jennifer, thank you for the purple hearts. Luis, thank you for the purple hearts. Rich, welcome to the chat, dude. Rick, thank you for the purple hearts. Okay, it says, from Corey, thanks, man, for the knowledge and help. I've had a rough week with some panic attacks and heavy anxiety, but realizing using acceptance the right way is simple, but yet hard to really use it correctly. Still trying to fully use the two keys the right way and just live. Love you, brother, and stay awesome, bro. Rick, thank you so much, Rick. That takes us to 45, guys. We are only 5 away from tonight's tip goal. Thank you so much, Rick. Show some love in the chat. Wrong way. Show some love in the chat with the purple hearts. You guys are just, what is going on here? You guys are just killing the tip goal right now. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Anyway, Corey, thank you too. Thank you as well. I think that was all your message said. Yes, that should be all it said. He wants a message on the board. All right, we'll get you a message on the board. I got you. So for anybody who supports the stream, if you want a custom message on the board, just let me know, and I'll put it on the board for you. So Corey wants a message on the stream. Let's do that real quick. By the way, guys, if you have any questions, now is the time to ask them. Just because we're getting tips and stuff and we're hanging out doesn't mean you can't ask your anxiety questions. That's what we save the second half of the stream for, so feel free to ask. So let's see. Corey with the 20. He wants a message on the board. Thank you again for the support, dude. I really appreciate it, Corey. And everybody else, thank you. All right, there we go. I think I got your message right. Thank you so much, Corey. Appreciate it. Thank you for all the purple hearts and the love in the chat. Sky, thank you. So Corey, Rick, Donkey, and Luis, thank you guys so much. We're only 5 away from the tip goal. Thank you so much. And there it is. There's tip goal right there. We got a 5 coming in on the Cash App. That is tip goal. That is tip goal. I never read names from the Cash App because I don't know if you want me to say your actual name or not. But if that was you who just took us to the tip goal, thank you so much. That is a 20-day streak. Guys, if I seem a little low on energy tonight, understand that it's just because I am absolutely worn out from pushing a push mower. I'm not complaining, but I'm complaining a little bit, pushing a push mower on my massive hill because my riding lawnmower broke. I guess it'll get me into shape. That's one way to look at it. So if I seem a little bit low energy tonight, it's because I am. But thank you guys, man. That's a 20-day streak. You guys are freaking amazing. Thank you so much. On behalf of the poor people here that wish we could tip, thank you to the tippers. Hey, look, just by watching my streams, interacting with my streams, liking my streams, and especially sharing my streams, you guys are doing your part, and I really, really appreciate it. Do not feel bad if you cannot tip the stream, okay? Do not feel bad for that. I really appreciate everything you guys do, whether it's just watching, liking, commenting, everything you do, every little bit of interaction you do on the channel helps the channel grow and helps us reach other people that probably desperately need this information. So I really appreciate it no matter what it is that you do for the channel. I appreciate it. Just tapped in, but had to help hit the tip goal. Okay, so it was one. Thank you. I'm going to call you one of one. One of one. Thank you so much for helping us hit the tip goal, dude. I really appreciate it. So one of one, Rick, Donkey, and Lewis, and Corey. Thank you guys for the tip goal tonight, man. Really appreciate it. MVPs for the night, man. MVPs for the night. You need a John Deere. Right. I absolutely do. I almost burped. I absolutely do. Disgusting. Wonder Bro exercise program, broken riding. Well, I don't use the broken riding lawnmower. I bought a push mower. It's not the best, mostly because it is battery powered. So, and my yard is absolutely massive. I don't know how else to describe it. So basically I can get through like a third of the yard with one full charge, and then it's got to take 2 hours to charge, and then I can do another third of the yard, and it's just like, it's not fun to wait around. I'm going to have to try to like buy another battery or something so I can have one charging while I'm using the other one. I need like 3 batteries if I'm going to do the entire yard in one day. But it is massive. I don't mind doing it. I absolutely love yard work, so it's not a big deal. I love mowing, so if I got to push it, I got to push it. I have fun with it. It's not bad. It's just I hate the battery situation. I've never had an electric mower. I hate that. You're an amazing mentor, bro. I don't know where I'd be without you. Thank you so much, one-on-one. Appreciate you. No, the ups and downs and worms are the norm. Ups and downs are completely normal. I've been getting a lot of back and forth while healing. There was a point there where I was finally healed, but symptoms crept back in. Just a dull impending doom feeling catches me off guard every time. Well, it's not about the feelings coming back in that is the problem. It's going to be your reaction to those feelings. So are you tapping back into your worry habit, or are you holding yourself responsible for that worry habit? That's what's going to make the difference, not whether or not symptoms are creeping back in. That's kind of out of your control, right? But it's all going to be, do you allow yourself to slip back into mental worry, or do you keep yourself pretty level-headed, right? Advice, what is up? Beware. Advice on how to monitor the worry habit and stay accountable without becoming obsessed with making sure you're doing it all right. So here's the irony, right? If you are obsessed and making sure you're doing it all right, that means you're worried. And at that point, you should call yourself out on that and say, oh, you're worrying again, and it is what it is, or whatever you want to tell yourself, and then get back to living. So the irony there is, if you are worried about doing it right, that is still worry that should be caught and then dropped. Right? And then acceptance comes into play of whatever thoughts come next, whatever feelings come next. So there's the irony. A lot of people worried about doing it right, which is worry in itself. And that is when you're supposed to step in and say, oh, you're doing it again, dude. That's pointless. That's just the worry habit. I know what's going on here. It is what it is. Or, that's just examples of the accepting inner voice. And then it's back to living, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Right? A lot of rinse and repeat. You're not doing it for instant benefits. Those benefits will come later. But yeah, so that's the irony of that. That is the irony of that. If you're worried about doing it right, that is still worried, and that is still worry, and that's where you're supposed to step in. Any advice on what to say to family when your anxiety gets to that can't eat, can't sleep, shaking constantly, and unable to make eye contact stage? I tell them it'll pass, but they always get scared. Any advice? So I don't really necessarily have any advice on what to tell them other than what you've already said, which is, hey, I know what's going on here. It'll pass. My advice would be to you. How are your behaviors when the anxiety gets that intense, right? Like, I understand if you can't sleep, you can't sleep, but are you trying to be involved in life still, or do you run straight to the bed and then that worries the family because you're not doing anything anymore? That's when we should probably be getting up. Not probably, but should be getting up, living, facing, accepting. I know you're not going to be perfect, and I know sometimes it's really hard, but yeah, that is, so my advice is not so much to your family as it is to you, right? As it is to you. That's the times when we really need to be putting in the work, right? I know it's not easy. God, I know it's not easy, but just make sure you're not allowing anxiety to shut you down to the point where you're just staying in bed, and that's got your family worried, right? That is the time when you need to be up, trying to practice this advice, living your life, trying to drop that worry, accept those thoughts and feelings, right? I'm holding myself responsible as much as I can, just can't wait to heal, and laugh about it. Well, instead of having the mindset of I just can't wait to heal, just have the mindset of I can't wait to do the work. Oh my God, that is so much better. That is such a better mindset, right? If you have the attitude of I'm willing to do this work, I want to do this work because it's building and shaping and forming the rest of my life, that is such a much better mindset to have. Keep going, everyone. Always one day closer to recovery. It gets better. Just take this advice and apply it. Thank you, one of one. I appreciate you, dude. Thank you so much. Is it an Ego mower? No, it is like the Walmart brand. What is it, like Heart or something, like white and blue color scheme. Dope stream. How do you overcome fear of rejection? What is up, zombie? I don't know. Actually, I think I've seen your name before. How do you overcome the fear of rejection? So a lot of things are going to come back to worry. And if you think about it, most fears come back to worry. So if you're worried about being rejected, now we call it the fear of rejection. But if you notice that you're starting to worry about how you could possibly be rejected whenever you ask, you do this or do that, or ask this person this or ask the person that. If you're doing that worry, that is when it's time to catch that worry and say, you know what, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. We take a step back, we drop the worry, and in place of that is that accepting inner voice, hey, whatever's going to happen. Life is full of, chances and risks, and we get back to living. So actually the fear of rejection does come right back to this habit of worry. Do you see how almost everything comes back to this, right? Trav, what is up, Trav? As when he gets fit using it, he will boost his ego. Actually, I've been going out, got a haircut, nice, shop, nice, went to work and all that, but I'm still getting the shakes constantly and can't eat and hardly can look them in the eye or talk right. Well, make sure you're trying to eat right. Make sure you're trying to eat. Of course, I'm sure you're doing your best there. But yeah, if I had to give your family any advice, I would say just try to explain it to them. Try to explain it to them the best that you can. Look, I'm going through this practice. It's called acceptance. I've got a tired nervous system, causes me to have these symptoms, but they're completely harmless. There's nothing to worry about. I know reassure them that you know what you're doing because you've got all this advice now. So you do know what you're doing. Reassure them that you know what you're doing the right thing, and that's all you can do, right? That's all you can do. So I would say reassure them that you know what's going on and you're getting help and you're helping yourself. That's what I would tell them. Tell them you won't need to go to the hospital. It's anxiety and best dealt with by not making it a crisis. Love it. Yeah, let's see if we can get your family to understand that by them turning it into a crisis, it's probably freaking you out a little bit more. So I would mention that too. I would say, hey, by you making this into a crisis, it's not helping me out. So I guess just try to explain how anxiety works to them, right? That's probably your best option. Cassie, tell them you won't snap. It's just anxiety can't hurt you. You're working on acceptance, which in time will disarm the worry and anxiety. I love it, Donkey. Great advice, as always, dude. I drove 2 hours to Hollywood for a stand-up comedy last night. Nice. Did you have fun? It's pretty awesome. Had some laughs and some drinks with friends, all in a great time. I saw Trevor Wallace. I don't know who that is, but it sounds like you had a fun time. Living in a situation where I'm confronted with past trauma, can't leave. I'm doing well with recovering, practicing. However, there are doubts that I can keep it up. So, Rick, anytime you are having these doubts, it's important to remember that at the end of the day, when it comes right down to it, the worry habit is pointless. So you might be tempted to worry because you're justifying the worry. You're saying my worry is justified because A, B, C, D. Worry is never justified because it's always pointless. It doesn't actually accomplish anything other than to tire your nervous system out. So if you're feeling confused, come back to the baseline that, wait a minute, the least I can do is work on this worry habit because it's adding to the problem and it's keeping me ill, it's keeping my nerves tired, and it's not actually changing anything anyway. So we come back and we remind ourselves of the basis when you are confused, right? right? And that's the truth of the matter. Embrace the burn. That's what I've learned. It helps because you can't make it go away. So embrace the creepiness and just let it be. Don't resist, fight, let it do what it needs to do and burn away. One of one. Excellent advice as always, dude. Thank you guys for all the positivity, the encouragement to one another. I really love seeing you guys go back and forth and help each other out. And thank you so much for the support here on the channel. Check me out. Quick shameless plug. Check me out over on TikTok, Vacate Fear. I'd love to get to 1K over there. It's doing great over there. Yeah, it's doing great. Thank you guys. John says, hey everyone, and Wonder Bro, what is up, John? Hope you're having a great night, dude. Hope you're having a wonderful night. You've got this, Rick. Absolutely. Same, Rick. Same. Thanks, Sky. Give me just a second, guys. I will be right back. If you've got any more questions, keep them rolling, man. We're going to keep going, but give me just a second. All right, let's see here. Maddie would be so disappointed. She would be. She still will be. That's the thing. That's the thing. She still will be. Like, I'll still hear about that. I'll hear about that even if it's tomorrow and the stream's already long over. I'll still hear about it. Oh, we love Maddie. We love Maddie. I'm not joking. We love Maddie. We love Maddie. Maddie's great. Thanks, Wonder Bro. No problem, Rick. I'll never go to the TikTok side. Hey, I'm just trying to branch out, right? I'm trying to bring some new people in, try to spread the word. So I never thought I'd go to the TikTok side either, so I don't blame you. Wonder Bro on a roll tonight. Appreciate you, Donkey Cassie. When I thought I had finally healed about a month ago, I was eating like a horse, but now I'm back to not eating at all. So the question you need to ask yourself is, now this could be completely normal. Symptoms can come and they can be up and down, and you have moments where you're put to the test and you have to do the work, right? That's just how healing happens. So it could be completely normal. But another question you need to ask yourself is, at any point from then till now, did you slip back into extreme worry? Right? Did you slip back into extreme, even if it's over a life situation? Guys, if you're just coming out of severe sensitized nerves and you go right back to worrying about even life situations, that's going to hurt your nerves. Okay, you don't have to be perfect. Everybody does a little bit of worry, but if you go back into extreme worry, even if it's over life situations and not over anxiety symptoms and not over intrusive thoughts, that is going to hurt your nervous system. That is going to probably set you back a little bit. Right? We cannot afford to keep the extreme worry habit, even if it's about life situations, especially just coming out of recovery, especially not then, right? So again, you don't have to be perfect. You're allowed to worry. Everybody worries. I worry from time to time. That's just being human. I'm much better at putting a stop to that, with everything that I know. But the point is, if you still have the extreme worry habit, that's got to go. We got to kick that at some point. Got to kick that. I am way behind on comments, guys. Look at him taking over. I know. Kate's right. Wonder Bro, do you think the fear/anxiety can pull up fears from younger days? I think it can, because the brain learns and remembers, right? So the thing is, if you haven't faced and accepted and dropped that worry, there's a chance that old pathways might light up, and then it's time to do the work, right? But you can retrain those pathways. So if old stuff pops up, then it just means that you have got more, you've got more retraining to do, and that's a perfect opportunity. Have that attitude of, I want to do this because I want to shape my life, right? I want to shape it the way I want it shaped. And that's the winning attitude to have. Easiest way to put it is do nothing. Don't put up a fight, worry, stress, nothing. Just flow through it all. I love it, one of one. It's okay to use that accepting inner voice if you need to catch yourself doing the worry and kind of not literally slap yourself on the wrist. The reason I say not literally is because I've heard of people using like rubber bands and smacking themselves on the wrist when they're worried. I'm like, stop doing that. It's unnecessary. Just work on your mental habits. Just work on your mental habits. You can't control what thoughts come. You're going to have a lot of those, but you can control whether you worry over them or not, right? You can control what you say about them. Start a GoFundMe to get Wonder Bro some goats. Yeah, then I would never need the lawnmower ever again. I'll just put a bunch of goats in the yard. Perfect. Problem solved. I did slip a little when the sensations came back, but I caught myself and just letting it ride and take its course. Nice, Elliot. Sounds like you're on track, bro. Don't worry about it. You'll get back. You'll get back to where you need to be. Hi, is a setback, just as you said, worry, or just your nerves still healing? If so, still healing. So if you contain the worry, you shouldn't get a setback. Is that right? No, like I said, it can be normal. It can be your nerves still healing. It can be pathways firing off and more work that needs to be done. So yeah, like I said, it can be just normal ups and downs, part of recovery. They're not really downs. If you take advantage of them, then it's just progress that can be made and needs to be made. So not necessarily are you experiencing symptoms because you went back to extreme worry, right, over something, whatever is irrelevant. But yeah, extreme worry will hurt your nerves, especially if you're in recovery or just coming out of recovery. It'll hurt anybody's nerves. If I sat here and worried to an extreme for days and weeks on end, I'd probably start to feel a bit rough, right? Especially if we started to get into the months territory. But yeah, it can go either way. Extreme worry, especially when you're just coming out of recovery, is probably going to bring some symptoms around. Again, I say extreme worry because you're not going to be perfect. Everybody worries a little bit. But also, it can be a very normal part of recovery just for the nerves to flare up from time to time. It's just an opportunity to retrain more pathways. That's what happens to me. Start worrying about life situations and go into full-blown worry about a physical sensation. So there we go. Robert backing me up. So that's what happens, right? Start worrying about a life situation. Extreme worry about a life situation causes some sensations, and then it's full-blown worry about the sensations too. And now you're really in a cycle because you're worried about this, worried about that. You see, we gotta be accountable for the mental habits. I had someone tell me to do the rubber band thing. Just ended up nerves with welts on my wrists. Yeah, I do not promote the rubber band thing. To me, it's just kind of like, hey, work on your mental habits. You don't have to self-abuse in the process. Wonder Goats, yes. I love it. Kate's onto something here. I really do love doing the yard work though, even if it is with a shitty push mower and the battery dies when I'm like not even close to being halfway through and I have to charge it about 6 times and break it down into 3 days. It's still fun. I enjoyed doing it. I should be able to solve that problem with another battery though. My whole days is recovery. I have progress and setbacks daily up and down. Yes, sir. It happens. It happens. I'm thinking about getting a flock of kittens and some harnesses for them to till my garden. That would be an interesting thing to see. Sky, you let me know how that works out for you. Hey, how come some days you can do something and the next day you can't? So these habits are hard to break, and some days you're just not going to be on your game. Some days you're just not going to be there, right? You're just not going to nail it. And then some days the nerves are a little bit more edge, and some days they're a little bit more relaxed. You know, it's constantly kind of fluctuating a little bit. So some days it might be easier, and some days it might be harder because the nerves are tired, more fragile one day than another, right? You're still generally sensitized, but that doesn't mean you can't be more sensitized one day than another day, right? All irrelevant as long as you're doing the work. But that's why some days it can be easier and some days it can be harder. And then there's also the case that some days you're just a human being and you don't do what you're supposed to do. And guess what? That's just life, and that's okay. That is totally okay. You don't have to be perfect to make progress, but we do need to get you back on track as soon as possible and be consistent and be accountable. I'm recovered, but I like hanging out in here. What's up, Grease? I really appreciate that, dude. I understand that most people, once they get to a level where they feel like they don't need the channel anymore, they leave, and that's understandable. That is totally fine. But I really appreciate you guys that still stick around just because you enjoy what we do here. You enjoy the community. That means a lot. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you guys for being so awesome. Cool. Thanks, brother. I appreciate the encouragement. Don't know if I'd even be alive if I didn't find this channel years ago. Elliot, thank you so much for that. Saved my life. Elliot. Oh, Elliot. Saved my life literally, and I can't show how much appreciation I have. I know it sounds I'm being sarcastic or something, but no, that's actually very heartwarming. I appreciate that, Elliot. I really do. This channel and the good people in here. Thank you for that, Elliot. The reason the rubber band can work temporarily is that the pain pulls you out of your head and into the present moment. I understand the concept of it. I still don't like it. I'll be honest. I understand the concept of it. It's supposed to be jarring. It's supposed to make an association. I get it, but I don't like it. And the reason I don't like it is because, especially if someone is severely sensitized, they're probably going to have to smack their wrist with that rubber band enough times where they're going to start to bleed, because that's about how much work you got to do. You're constantly not allowing yourself to go into the worry, using your accepting inner voice, shutting that worry down, living your life. You're doing that to a pretty severe degree, right? Because you have a severe worry habit. So I get the rubber band concept. I understand it. But if you're like really sensitized and you've got a really extremely bad habit of worry, you're going to be smacking that wrist until it starts to literally bleed. So I'm not a fan of the rubber band thing. I would rather just say use your accepting inner voice, tell yourself good job, you scored a point, and go back to living. I think that's a little bit more realistic, but maybe for someone who doesn't have to do it as often, that would be okay. I still don't recommend it. I never recommend any form of like abuse, self-abuse, but yeah, that's going to be a lot of rubber band smacking going on there. I agree, Wonder Bro. Pain therapy is a crutch and not addressing the root issue. Yeah, because you can do it without the need of the rubber band. Remember, don't focus on any of the symptoms. Once you deal with anxiety, all the symptoms go away. And what he means by deal with the anxiety is deal with that mental habit of the extreme worry, accepting inner voice, live your life, right? A flock of kittens. It's called a murder of kittens. Is that real? Is that a thing? I don't know about that. No, okay. It's confirmed. It's not called a murder of chickens. Chickens eat grass too, so maybe I could just do the chickens. You mentioned you used a ticker. Is that true? When I was really, really bad off, yes. When I was really, really bad off, it didn't last very long at all. But yes, when I was really bad off, I like to kind of keep myself on a tally system. I'm like, hey, nice. You just shut the worry down. You were tempted to worry over that thought. You didn't do it. Nice. Kind of like a point thing. Yeah, you got a point. Or you were worried about that feeling. You shut it down. You use that accepting inner voice. You accepted the feeling. Nice. You got a point. Living your life. That's when I was bedridden and peeing in bottles and like was just an absolute Oh God, I don't even know how to put that in words. It didn't go on for too long that I wanted to keep myself like on a tally or points, but it was a way kind of to hold myself accountable. And again, that's really what this whole stream is about, is accountability. It is an accountability stream, which means if you don't have accountability, you are not holding yourself accountable. There is no way for you to have consistency. If you don't have accountability, you don't have consistency. If you don't have consistency, you will not have healing. Something's got to be holding you accountable, whether that is yourself, whether that is someone else, whether that is the community here, the Discord. Something has to be holding you accountable and making sure you're doing that mental work. Because if nothing is holding you accountable, again, that could be yourself. But if nothing is holding you accountable, you're probably just not going to do it. Right? For one reason or another, whatever that reason is, you're probably just not going to do the work if you yourself are not holding yourself accountable, if somebody else is not holding you accountable. Find something, again, even yourself, to hold you accountable. If you're not accountable, you're not consistent. If you're not consistent, you're not healing. So again, you don't have to be perfect. I've said that about 3 million times this stream. The reason I keep saying it, guys, is because I don't want you to think I'm telling you to be perfect. There's a difference between trying to be perfect and being held accountable, right? I used to use a bunch of breathing techniques to calm down too much work. The 2 keys work much better and easier to implement. I like it. A kitty, a litter, or an intrigue? Huh? Interesting. Interesting. A tribe of kittens. I like how half the chat is talking about anxiety. The other half of the chat is trying to figure out what you would call a gang of kittens. Interesting. Nice. All right, guys, we're approaching our hour mark. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you for all the tremendous support tonight. I just booped the mic, but we're still going. Okay, it's been giving us trouble, but we're good. Thank you guys for all the tremendous support tonight, all the positivity, all the love, all the encouragement. 20-day tip goal, man. 20-day tip goal. Thank you guys so much for that. I love you. Don't know what I would do without your support. Actually, I do know what I would do. I wouldn't be here doing this, all right, because without you guys, this wouldn't be anything. Check me out on TikTok, Vacate Fear. Get up with me if you're interested in private one-on-one coaching. I do offer coaching sessions. Just hit me up, and we'll see what we can do with that. I offer various different times and stuff like that, various different ways you can go about that. So with all that being said, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you here. We talk about all sorts of things here. It's all about leveling up your mental health. So join us on this journey. Thank you again so much for the positivity tonight. Thank you for the tip goal, man. 20-day streak. I love you guys so much. I'm always so grateful for you guys. As far as the roof goal goes, we're about 12 away from our roof goal. It's just I wanted to break it up a little bit. I don't want every stream to be a roof goal stream. I want to have some of our topics in there too. So we're only like 12 away from the roof goal. Thank you guys so much for that. So much to say, but I think I can just sum it up with thank you. Thank you, and I hope you have an amazing, terrific night. I'm going to drop the Discord link. I don't know if it'll actually work, guys, to be honest with you, but there it is. Hopefully it does if you want to join us on Discord. And with all that being said, I love you so fucking much. Hold yourself accountable. Let somebody else hold you accountable. Check in with the Discord. Let them hold you accountable. Just get accountable so that you can do the work. Because if you're not accountable, you're not going to be consistent. If you're not consistent, you're not doing the work. And if you're not doing the work, you're not going to heal. All right, not to the degree that you wish to heal, right? You could heal so much more, so much better with a quality healing, right? If you're held accountable. All right, you guys, I love you so much. Have a terrific night. Stay awesome.